hello! You just interrupted our hurdy-gurdy session. My name is David. I am your host for this show, and this is my co-host,
Lewis.
And this is Blood on the Mic, a show where we bring you all things music. And today is one of our special episodes where we listen to some new music coming out and then tell you how we feel about it. Almost like a reaction video.
Yeah, it's kind of like a reaction video without actually listening to this. Well, you don't get to listen to it. You get to listen to like a song I made and then sped up. But you get to watch us listen to it. So if that's entertaining for you, please keep watching.
But we do recommend that you follow along. We do post a playlist along with our wherever it is that you're watching / listening to this, so that you guys can also take the time to, introduce yourselves to the songs that we're listening to as well.
Cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's get into it. What's the first song that we're gonna be listening to?
The first song. This is July 24th, 2020, and this song came out just a couple days ago on July 22nd. It is from the Avalanches. The Avalanches are actually a personal favorite of mine. I don't know if you did.
I didn't know that. I didn't know you loved the Avalanches.
We never really talked about the Avalanches. But the Avalanches, they came out with an album in 2000. It was a seminal album. It has Frontier Psychiatrist and Since I Left You and a bunch of other songs. Then they kind of disappeared off the map for
what was the name of that
years.
album?
Since I Left You.
Yeah.
And it's a genre called plunderphonics. It's really just sampling is really what it is.
Yeah, but it's like songs that are 100% sampled, like 100% made from samples.
And then like the sampling is totally eccentric as well.
Which was more popular in like, 80s hip hop and early 90s and shit. But then people started suing people for samples and stuff.
Right.
So.
Copyright laws made it difficult. Even for the Avalanches, it made it difficult for them to license some of the music.
So now if people sample stuff, like before people used to sample, like every element of the song was a sample. Like, the main part will be a sample, then they'll have drums that were sampled from another song and a bass line sampled from another song and all that shit.
Right.
Now they'll have like one sample of like maybe a guitar or something, and then the rest is like their own shit.
Yeah, and then nowadays a lot of sounds are self-produced as well. Like,
imagine when was the Beastie Boys' Paul's Boutique
in
released?
1989.
Yeah, like imagine that. Like they had a song that like sampled the Beatles and shit. Like you can't do that now.
Yeah,
the Beatles
that was
the
like
fuck out of you.
It's like the golden age of sampling. What was that other band as well? De La Soul.
De La Soul sampled the shit ton of stuff. Yeah,
3 Feet High and Rising.
Yeah,
and but the Avalanches though they came out in 2000. Got around the copyright laws by sampling some really weird stuff that it wasn't hard to get licensing for. And then in 2015 they finally came back, released another album. Was it 15 or 16? I don't know. It was a few years back, and I already liked it, but feels like it still went under the radar for a lot of people.
I don't know. I don't know how huge the Avalanches are, like generally, because I never really heard of them until they released that new album, and I'm like, who are these people? And then I looked into them.
Well, they were definitely like more of like I don't know if like word of mouth kind of thing at first. And, the music publications took notice, and, everybody, by the end of the day, agreed that the 2000 album was pretty good. And then the 2016 album dropped, and it just, I don't know, I didn't hear, a lot of, like, the music publications seemed to not care too much, which I thought was weird, because I thought it was pretty great, well, all throughout.
Okay, well, let's see what's up with this new song. What's it called?
It's a new song from the Avalanches. It's called Wherever You Go, featuring, Nene Cherry, Calypso, and more excitedly for me is Jamie XX from the XX. And Jamie XX always has some great production on his stuff, or at least I think so. So, I want to see what this collaboration is like.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to listen to that real quick. The Avalanches. And we're back. We just finished listening to the Avalanches with a new song that they just released called Wherever You Go, I believe. That was featuring Jamie XX and Nene Cherry. And another one, Calypso was also on there. What do you think of it?
It was cool. I generally liked it. I like how it starts off kind of atmospheric and like spacey,
Mm-hmm.
and then the whole time I was waiting, like, okay, when's the drop coming? There's got to be some kind of like. I knew the drums were gonna come in at some point, and then like at the beginning part, it seems like they kind of faked you out a couple times, where it seemed like the drums were gonna come in, and then it doesn't. I don't know if you felt like that, but
I
there,
I I wasn't anticipating because I wasn't anticipating anything. I did hear some of those rise and falls, but maybe you probably had more anticipation into
yeah, I
it.
was like, this got to turn into some dancing thing at some point, and it
Yeah.
does. And then I like that bass line. It kind of like I don't know how to describe, like a round sounding bass, like kind of like a dancey
It sounds like
bass
kind
line.
of like square waves almost like.
Yeah, yeah, and then it has a nice like dance groove to it, and but I kind of wish that because after it got into that like dancey part with the drums and the bass and stuff, it kind of just stays in that mode for the rest of the song.
Yeah.
I kind of wish it would do like it transitioned into something else or like kind of evolved a little bit more past that since it starts in one place, then just ends up in the other. For me, I wish it did like it transformed into something else at the end. Like
Right.
that would have made it a little more.
Yeah, I get that. I also agree the song was enjoyable. Um, it was kind of like a chill out song for like half of it,
Yeah,
and then there's like kind of like mixed in there are like clips of more like club oriented, more Jamie XX
yeah,
style, like um, not maybe not like that, but like kind of like more hip
yeah.
hop and
Just
kind of
like
style.
just
Yeah.
yeah,
Um, and I like the. I mean, I liked it overall, and I liked the individual pieces of it, and I did think the transitions were, um, I guess, kind of in a way the transitions were not, I guess the not the best, but it was pretty good for like such different styles of music. Maybe
mm-hmm.
I say, I don't know. But I agree that like the song itself felt like it could have built to be more. I
Yeah,
don't know. It did seem unrealized in a
yeah.
sense.
That's what I feel like. The song itself right now just it doesn't add up to much.
Right.
It's got a nice groove in the dancey part and the and it's kind of like a chill dance groove thing.
Yeah.
And but other than that, it's not really it doesn't really do much else.
Right. And I mean with the Avalanches, this is already the third single I think that they've released this year.
Hmm.
Um, Sometimes some of their songs are pretty good as singles. Um, like I told you, Since I Left You, Frontier Psychologist. There was the one they did with Danny Brown.
Hmm.
I thought was really great. But most of their songs are better experience, I think, as an album.
Yeah, like this song might do better like in the context of the album.
Right, right. I mean, and you could tell that they didn't even edit the song to be a single.
Yeah.
The way it ends so abruptly makes you feel like it's gonna go on to a
Yeah.
different track. But yeah, it's maybe more of a snippet, I guess, of like what the album
Yeah,
will be.
like
At this point, I'm pretty convinced that there will be a new album coming out.
probably. I
pretty
mean,
soon.
this is like their third single, like you said. So
Right, right.
if they don't release an album, I'd be surprised.
Yeah, then it would be really weird why these songs came out like this. But yeah.
Well, that would be a good transition for the Gorillaz, but we're not going to do that next. We're going to do Earl Sweatshirt.
All right, yeah. But next we're gonna do Earl Sweatshirt. This is from an album that he's already released, but
So yeah, he released an EP, I think last year. I think it was 2019 that he released his EP Feet of Clay. And so just this week, it might have even been today, he released like bonus like an extent what is it an expanded version deluxe edition of his EP Feet of Clay where he added 2 new songs. One of the songs, Whole World, was already a single that he released like a couple months ago.
Yep.
But then another song, Ghost, is completely unreleased. Nobody's heard it yet, so we're gonna talk about that one.
yeah, featuring Navy Blue. All right, that was a short one, and so we're already back. And I guess I could go ahead and talk about
Yeah,
this song from Earl Sweatshirt, featuring
Navy Blue.
Navy Blue, called Ghost. I like the I like the chop up the soul Kanye style production. Um, I don't know if it was the smoothest execution of that style, but I it's a style that I generally like.
Yeah.
So no complaints there. Um, it is a very short song. It's under 2 minutes. Was it talking about his dad being a vegetable? Is that what? Yeah.
Well, his dad died. He released his album Some Rap Songs in 2018, and that was like around the time that his dad died. And there's a lot of like themes of his dad's death and shit in all his music basically since then.
Okay.
So it's not uncommon to hear about him like referring to his dad's death and shit like that.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, I mean, I only made out a few of the lines in there, but I did catch that, and yeah, no, I mean, I thought it was a nice track. I don't know.
Yeah, the thing with Earl Sweatshirt, I think, well, specifically the type of music Earl Sweatshirt's been making in the past like 2 or 3 years, is that if you take the individual songs, they're, they could be good or bad or whatever, but they don't really amount to much. Like the song's less than 2 minutes long. If you listen to some rap songs, that album was only like 20 something minutes and it had like 15 songs on it or something.
Oh well.
So like it's a bunch of like 1 to 2 minute songs that he's been doing recently. But
Very Minutemen of him.
yeah. And so when he does it well, the sum of its parts, like the whole, is greater than the sum of its parts.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
like it's kind of hard to really like critique what he's doing with just one song. But I could talk about just one song and see what I think.
Right.
So like you said with the sample, it is that kind of soul sample chopping and shit. But I like the fact that like you said it was rough, but like I'm pretty sure it was rough on purpose because it's cool. It's like it's a loop, but just like a roughly chopped loop. It's like the loop isn't sitting perfectly. It's not like
Right.
a perfect loop. It's like a little bit off.
Yeah.
And
kind of like did you hear that last JC album?
yeah,
Yeah, like that the
yeah.
production.
The production on
one.
that was like
Who was the producer on that one?
I think it was No ID.
Yeah, I think it was.
I think it was.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of the production on that was the same way, and it was like it's not as rough as this.
Yep.
But a lot of those loops and chops like were raw, like less perfect. Like
Yeah.
it was going for a more raw, minimal sound, and but if you listen to like his flow on this song and like his flow on a lot of songs, it's like he's kind of like catching these weird pockets and shit and not rapping perfectly. Because Earl Sweatshirt is like a super technical rapper, like. When he wants to be like super technical and perfect, like he can be, but the way he's been rapping recently is like not rapping perfectly on beat and catching like different shit. I don't know. It's really interesting to me.
See, is he pulling a Picasso? You think?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, he's doing that avant-garde shit. Like he's trying to make like there like I talk about these people all the time, but like the New York underground avant-garde rap shit that's going on now. Like, he's taking a lot of influence from that, and,
Yeah.
they kind of do a similar thing.
Yeah.
And I really like the sound. Like, I love that sound that's going on. And, I generally like the shit that Earl Sweatshirt's been doing. I mean, Some Rap Songs is one of my favorite albums of, like, the past decade, honestly. I love that album.
More than I Don't Like Shit.
Yeah, more than that.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's his best album, so...
Cool. So yeah,
but specifically with the lyrics too, like I didn't catch much that like really like caught my attention, but I want to go back and listen to it more because I know he has a lot of shit in there that he usually. I mean, sometimes he doesn't, but like a lot when he like really writes, like he's a really good writer and he has a lot of like cool lines and metaphors and shit and like really like heartbreaking stuff and things in there too about like his addiction and it's.
Do you think this would place well in this album or this EP? I guess.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that would be placed well. Honestly, I think with those two new songs, it might make the EP better because that EP wasn't that. It was okay, but it was kind of like a letdown from some rap songs.
So you think this will make it more complete?
It might. I don't know. I'd have to listen to it again.
Okay, cool. But yeah, deluxe version of Earl Sweatshirt's Feet of Clay just released. Cool. We'll move on to another kind of not any orthodox way of releasing music is the Gorillaz With I think we covered the Gorillaz about a month ago, maybe 2 months ago
Yeah,
now.
they've been so the Gorillaz have been doing this thing called Song Machine for I think even since before I think they started it before quarantine started, honestly. I don't even remember.
It looks like this
But
has
it
been going
was
the entire year.
yeah, so they've been releasing new songs basically every month for a while. And, you know, I think this is some of their best stuff in a while, like the Song Machine series. I've liked basically every song that they've released. I think it's much better than Humans. And
Yeah, I can agree with that. Yeah.
but my only thing is I don't know if they're trying to make an album or not. Because so far it's just a bunch of loose songs. They've never said anything about releasing an album with these or anything, or if these are part of an album or what they're doing. But, you know, so far the music's been good, so I'm not complaining.
Right. So we're gonna cover. This is part of their 5th episode of the Song Machine. I don't know if they're just gonna keep it as like individual episodes, or if they're gonna stitch them up together. But this one is featuring Schoolboy Q, and
Love Schoolboy Q.
the song's called Pac-Man. So we'll give that a listen. All right, that was that song by the Gorillaz featuring Schoolboy Q.
Pac-Man.
Pac-Man.
So that gave me strong Demon Days vibes. I don't know if that did for you either.
Yeah, no, it definitely felt like a true blue Gorillaz song.
Yeah. But like specifically Demon Days, because I feel like every album they try to do something different. Like they have
Right.
a different sound on basically every album.
Yeah, I can. Yeah,
But like that like quirky bass line and drum beat at the beginning, and then Damon album coming in, it's like it would fit right into Demon Days, like a song like Dirty Harry or Feel Good Inc. Even.
Yeah.
Like it sounds like that kind of thing. And you know I love it. I love Demon Days.
yeah, it's my
I mean,
favorite album from there. So you know,
like it's either that or Plastic Beach for me. But yeah.
I have a hard time understanding Damon Albarn because I mean he has such a solid run of Gorillaz records. You know, 2000, 2005, 2010. And it's not like they were gone for that long after Plastic Beach. And then Humans came out, and it was just, I mean, for some reason everybody thought it was going to be a comeback. They were only gone for like 5 years. And
Well, they release an album basically every 5 years. They had an album in between that, the fall, I think it was.
yeah, but it's just like a B-side, I think.
No, that was. I mean, it was a new album, like it was all new music, but it was shit that like Damon Albarn had just made on his iPad during a tour.
Oh, true.
So like,
true.
I don't really count that as anything. It's not like a true Gorillaz album.
It's not like a top tier release.
Yeah.
That one's just kind of like, yeah, like a post release kind of like.
Yeah, it's just like he felt like making some shit. He put it out. I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, he probably should have just put it out as like a Damon Albarn thing. Like, I don't know why he put the Gorillaz on it.
I'm not sure
But-
either. But I don't know what happened with Humans. I feel like on Humans, a lot of those songs didn't sound like the Gorillaz. It
Yeah.
sounded like he was trying to catch up with like what was going on in other scenes. But
Yeah.
there were only a few songs on that album that I thought were like actually sounded like Gorillaz songs. And I think these past few releases in this song, like just in particular, like they don't disappoint. It's like you go in there trying to expect Gorillaz, and yeah, it's the Gorillaz.
Yeah, this is like true comeback.
Yeah.
Because like, you know, the what was that shit called? Humans.
Humans?
was a letdown. I didn't listen to the one after that.
The now I hadn't even heard of it.
I heard it was a little better, but not that much better. And but this Song Machine stuff, like it's been a lot better. The only thing I'm concerned about with this song, like I really like it, but I think it's weird that they're going back to an old style that they already did. Like that sounds so much like Demon Days to me. Like other than the fact that Schoolboy Q is on it and he's like, you know, a new rapper, like they wouldn't Schoolboy Q was like 12 in 2005 or whatever when Demon Days came out. So he wouldn't be on it. But like if you replace him with like a 2005 rapper,
Yeah.
put him on there, like that would just be a Demon Days song.
Yeah, I could see what you're saying. It doesn't have the same it doesn't have the same defeatist tone that the Demon
Yeah.
Days has, but I mean the instrumentation I can see how it's from Demon Days. Yeah, I guess I haven't made up my mind on that. At this point, I'm just glad that the music is good.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
I'm not like being overly critical about like the grand scheme of things in terms of like.
Yeah, and that's another thing that like, cause there's another Song Machine song that they released. I don't know if you listened to it, Aries, that has Peter Hook on it from New Order,
Okay,
and
I
it
don't think I
sounds
heard.
it sounds exactly like a New Order song. Like it's just 100% a New Order song,
Okay,
and I still like it a lot because
yeah, because it's New Order,
I love
right?
New Order, I love Gorillaz, so
Yeah.
it's good. But it was just a weird thing to me because Gorillaz have never been a band to like let the feature dictate what the song sounds like. You know, like they'll make a song and put a feature on it, and the feature like has to bend to the will of the Gorillaz, basically. You know, like
Yeah,
this is
I
not
mean,
what
it at least gives that impression of
yeah, like this song does not sound like a Schoolboy Q song. It sounds like a Gorillaz song
Right.
with Schoolboy Q on it.
Yeah.
Like the song with Peter Hook on it sounded like a New Order song
Hmm.
with Damon Albarn on it. So it's just it's strange because it's not bad. Like all the music's good. I
Right.
like it. It's just a weird thing I've noticed that
Yeah,
um
I would say probably. Yeah, I don't know. I have a hard time like making up my mind in terms of. I mean, it's good stuff. It's good stuff. This recent stuff is good stuff. But I have a hard time deciding whether it's super noteworthy and like
yeah.
over like if you look
Yeah,
at the
that's the
career as a
thing.
whole.
Like, if this shit came, like, if Humans wasn't bad, would I be as excited about this stuff? You know,
Right.
like if these songs came out after Plastic Beach, like I'd be like, yeah, these songs are all right or whatever. I probably wouldn't be as excited about them because, like,
Right.
you know,
And like I know you're not gonna get this reference at all, but like I felt the same way when Coldplay released their last album, and it's at the end of the day it was an album that was just okay. It was alright, but compared to like some of the stuff that they had released in previous years, like what Half Full of Dreams, I don't know all that stuff. I wasn't a big fan of, and so like listening to this new stuff, I was like, oh sweet,
yeah,
it's like Coldplay's back, but then you're like take a step back and you listen to some of the older stuff, and you're just like, this is still it's better, but it's not. It's not like canon material.
yeah.
If
That kind
makes
of
any
happened to
sense.
me with LCD Sound System's new album that they released after like 10 years of being broke. It wasn't even 10 years. It was like 5 years or something of being broken up. Because LCD Sound
Another
System,
comeback. Yeah.
the LCD Sound System's one of my favorite bands ever, and I was so excited for the new album. I listened to it and I'm like, oh, this is
Yeah.
great. And then after listening to it
Oh,
more times, I'm like,
baby.
I like that song. But like listening to the whole album, I'm like, yeah, I guess it's okay. It's not their best shit, but I was just so
Yeah.
excited.
Right. And I mean, I guess ultimately it's just like this is music for the fans. I think. I don't know if is he really capturing any new fans with this music?
I
It's
don't
hard
know.
to say. Like maybe if you're a Schoolboy Q fan, you'll be like, "Oh, the Gorillaz had a song with the Schoolboy Q. I've heard of the Gorillaz before."
Yeah.
And then maybe like us would be like, "You've heard of the Gorillaz? How do you? Of course you've heard of the Gorillaz."
That shit actually makes me really excited because like I was listening, so were you listening to the Gorillaz when I was like 10 years old, fucking 7 years old, whatever.
Yeah, I remember when Demon Days came out, we like saw it like on the shelves, this physical
Yeah,
CD.
and like
And
I was
we'd
a
be like,
huge fan of the Gorillaz when I was a kid. Like I'm still a huge fan,
Yeah.
and so like it's just cool to me like seeing the Gorillaz and then like a new rapper that I love, Schoolboy Q, being on a Gorillaz song is like exciting to me. And like Vince Staples was on the Gorillaz song too,
Yeah.
and like that was like holy shit. Vince Staples is like the same age as me, so I'm sure he was listening to the Gorillaz.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. No, I mean it's still exciting either way. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's nice that Damon Albarn has been doing this for 30 years almost. Jeez. All right. We're gonna go on to another song. This one might be a little bit more unorthodox to what we normally cover, but not too far out. Not too far out. This is a new one from T Swizzle.
her
Taylor,
official name.
her official name, Taylor Swift. What am I calling her?
What do you call her?
The patron saint of
Pop music.
of Starbucks girls out
I'm
there.
sorry. She's a pop star. She's
Yeah, I mean, some would argue the biggest pop star of our generation, but I guess that's
wouldn't that be Beyonce?
yeah. But then people argue is Beyonce actually like pop?
Yes. Who's arguing that she's not pop?
Well, she comes more from like the soul lineage, and I would see pop as like a lowering of of
Pop I mean, by definition, pop music is whatever is popular. Because
I
60s pop music does not sound like current pop music.
Yeah, but
and they
there's
come
like
from completely different.
there's like particulars to it and all that stuff. But I mean, like, sure, whatever.
Look, I know
Like,
what you mean, because like pop, like it is whatever's popular, but there is like a line of like what pop is.
like at some point, new metal was popular, but that's not pop.
It was pop at the time.
It was poppy-ish, but like, I don't know.
But it's pop that adopts like.
Sure,
So-
like I mean, like Beyonce, yeah, Beyonce. I would say
Beyonce
falls
does
into,
come
like,
from
the
that
pop
like
realm.
R&B soul realm, but
Yeah.
she adopts more pop stuff,
Right.
and lately more like hip hop shit and stuff like
I
that.
I guess Taylor Swift, you could say, comes from like a more country background.
Quote,
But you know,
unquote,
coming from Pennsylvania,
a
you know,
white
you
girl
can-
with an acoustic guitar.
right. But either way, yeah, we'll just finish it there. Patron saint of Starbucks girls.
But you know, this new album, from what we've heard, is more indie folk than like pop.
Yeah, this is a collaboration with the National. Forget Dresden, something like that.
Yeah, so get ready to go to sleep.
It's actually this song's a little bit more upbeat, I think, from the other songs. This is
This
supposed to
song.
be like one of her woke albums. She's been saying a lot more stuff that is considered controversial for somebody that, you know, maybe at one point was more attached to.
Controversial. What's she saying that's controversial?
It's not even like all that controversial. I mean, she's like criticized like the president, and you know.
Oh, you mean the president that everybody in the world is fucking criticizing?
Right,
That's
but you know,
controversial?
when she comes from like a background of singing at state fairs in like Pennsylvania, you know, it like it rubs her old
It's like
fans the wrong way.
when Hannah Montana or Miley Cyrus, like when Hannah Montana turned into Miley Cyrus and she started
Right.
doing all the sex things and whatever.
It's not quite as like controversial as when the Dixie Chicks criticized George Bush.
Yeah,
but
because
like
that was like after 9/11 and people were trying to like, hey,
But
let
plus,
us
like-
let us kill all these people.
plus
Stop
like
it.
also the Dixie Chicks were like very ingrained in like, you know, more
yeah, they
of
were
like the
country.
country, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, but Taylor Swift, yeah, definitely more pop than country, yeah, at least for several years at this point. But anyways, this is more of an indie folk record. We're gonna listen to this song called "The Last Great American Dynasty." So let's give it a spin real quick. That was the last great American dynasty from Taylor Swift's latest album. It dropped today, actually. It's called Folklore. I don't know if there was any announcement that it was gonna.
no, it just
release
dropped randomly.
Was it right then?
I mean,
I didn't know
I
that.
don't fucking check for Taylor Swift. I don't know. She said she was dropping it. To me, it seemed like she just dropped it randomly.
I mean, it seems like the music publications knew about it because they already had like, you know,
They have rave reviews for
rave
it.
reviews for
Can I
it.
just say something real quick? This shit is not good. It's it's when you said
Let it out.
when you said like Starbucks music before or whatever, like she was a patron saint of Starbucks girl. This is definitely Starbucks music through and through. This is like music to sip a fucking latte to and not pay attention to.
We are sipping some lattes.
Well, I'm sipping black coffee, but
I had cream in mine, but
but yeah, this is just like you sitting in a bookstore and they play some non-offensive music in the background. You're like, this is nice, it's fine, and that's it. You don't think about it any further. This is not like it's not like she had very thought-provoking music before, but at least it was poppy, it was catchy, you know, it had a bit to it and shit.
Yeah.
It was fun. This is nothing.
yeah, this is I mean, I've talked about it with one of my friends before, and it doesn't surprise me that she employed the National for this. The National in indie world is kind of like the old reliable, but like not that exciting. You know,
Yeah.
it's like
It's everything I hate. I haven't listened to much of the National, but everything I have listened to, I'm like, it's bored me to tears. So I don't ever want to listen to them.
I've like haven't given them like a fair shot just because there hasn't been like usually you need a single to hook me in, and they just haven't really offered that for me, at least not from what I've heard. And yeah, no, it's kind of like maybe it's like the perfect pairing for Taylor Swift, because like she seems like, you know, she's definitely like the girl who's out and around and like, you know, knows everybody, and she goes out around the world, but nothing really like ever sticks to her. But then of course she can always come back to what is it, West Reading, Pennsylvania, or whatever.
What does that have to do with this music?
And,
what are you talking about right now?
Come back to the National, the old reliable, and then embrace that sound that I feel like has always been a part of her.
Look, I guess that sound, or at least a part of that sound, has always been part of her. Well, not always. At the beginning was part of her sound. Like, because she did the more acoustic.
If you ever listen to her albums, and having lived with fans of her, I've listened to several of her albums. There's always a little bit of that in her albums that she is. That's like ultimately, one of her biggest fans, one of her biggest idols is Stevie Nicks. And that kind of sound, I feel like, is what she, that whole female songwriter, and I'm gonna have some more sensitive
though, when people go songs. Into I don't think people that don't start as full singer songwriter, a lot of times they'll do a singer songwriter album or something when they mature and get older, and it's always bad, because it's just boring, and they don't
Well, I mean, I would agree with you that This is not music that I.
Because this was one of the more upbeat songs on the album.
This album is very down tempo. Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know. I'm interested to listen to the album just because I want to see sad Taylor Swift, but
I don't hate this song.
This kind of music is literally so mild, it's offensive to me. It's nothing.
It's just a nice song. I don't know.
I know, and it's fine. If this came on, I wouldn't care about it. That's as much as I can say.
I try to pay attention to the lyrics, but
the lyrics seemed what I caught from it. It seemed interesting. She was telling the story of maybe a woman that lived in
something about a mad woman or something like that.
Yeah, that maybe got I don't know.
Got run out of town. I don't know. Am I placing my own ideas over here?
It seemed kind of interesting from what I caught from it, but just the music itself was not interesting at all.
Yeah, I mean it. I don't know. I would say most folk music probably is not too far from this. It's just musically it's just a plain song, but it's more of a vehicle for whatever story she's trying to tell. I couldn't really capture what the story was about, but I don't know. If somebody was playing it, I was in the car with them, I wouldn't really make a fuss about it.
I'd be like, you wouldn't even notice that it was on. That's what I'm saying. It's like the equivalent of the Big Bang Theory, where it's
no. I tell people to turn that off. I wouldn't tell anybody to turn this off, but
well, the Big Bang Theory, I hate it because it's so aggressively mediocre, but it's the most popular show in the world.
I don't know. The Big Bang Theory, I actually think is not good.
Well, I think it's just really stupid because it paints a picture of nerds from the 80s as if that's still the stereotype of nerds.
Right.
And it
just seems like
there's literally a character that physically can't talk to girls as if that's a thing.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. Some people might say that I take it personally because I went to MIT and I'm a nerd. I don't know, how I'm a nerd. I'm a music nerd, I guess. But
yeah, you're not really that kind of nerd. But
right. I don't know.
You have a master's degree in engineering from MIT, and you actually did work in a lab at MIT. So
right.
You kind of are from that world.
But even if I was a nerd, I don't know, you can be a nerd.
I mean, I'm probably more of a nerd.
Yeah, you play Dungeons and Dragons.
I play Dungeons and Dragons. Yeah. I read fucking books by
Nabokov
and Franz Kafka and shit. I have a fucking YouTube show about music. I'm a complete nerd, but
the way I see that show is it just seems like an extension of this anti-intellectualism that's been going on in this country, and maybe I'm getting a little bit too political for this show. This show's supposed to be about music. But you should listen to
that's another thing. You're a politics nerd too.
You should listen to authorities and if they're experts at a particular thing.
Don't listen to authority. Fuck that. Do whatever you want. Also, don't watch Big Bang Theory.
Listen to the doctors. Wear your masks.
Don't fucking wear. Okay, wear a mask. Wear a mask. But don't listen to doctors because fuck them.
Don't listen to the doctors.
Do wear a mask though, but not because the doctor told you to.
All right. Any last thoughts on this Taylor Swift album?
Fuck it. I hope it burns in a fire. Go to the next. Is there another song? Is that the last one?
No, we have one more song. It's the J. Cole song.
Another mediocre artist.
Yeah, I don't particularly have strong feelings about J. Cole. We're gonna listen to this next song. It's a new song from him. This is called "The Climb."
I do want to say one thing about
go
J.
ahead.
Cole first. People always put J. Cole on the same level as Kendrick Lamar.
Oh, no.
And they need to stop that.
No.
I don't know why that started. That's the stupidest thing. Kendrick Lamar released like the most lyrically fucking dense album in the past like fucking 20 years to
Kendrick
Pimp a
Lamar
Butterfly.
won a Pulitzer Award.
He won a fucking Pulitzer Prize, and you're putting J. Cole, a guy who gets in fucking Twitter beats with no name for some like.
Yeah, J. Cole's like the philosopher that you find in like the backstreet of your neighborhood. Like, I don't know. Like,
Yeah, he's a guy. He's a guy that's like, hey, you ever think about this? Where Kendrick Lamar's fucking writing a master's thesis and fucking winning prizes for it.
I don't know.
J. Cole is nowhere near the same level as Kendrick Lamar.
I also don't want to disrespect him too much.
Not
but,
even in artistry, even in just like popularity. Kendrick Lamar is huge on the radio and shit. Sells platinum shit, and like everybody knows Kendrick Lamar. J. Cole is a pillar down from Kendrick Lamar. That's all I'm saying.
And I'm kind of glad we can call. Like, I'm kind of glad that we can actually like talk down on J. Cole, because I don't know, if this was like 10 years ago, J. Cole might have been actually one of the better rappers out there. But I'm glad that we're in a situation where we can actually diss on J. Cole for being, whatever. Okay, this next track.
This new song, J. Cole just released a single. I get. Well, I don't know. It's two songs. It's under the name Lewis Street. That's the name of the
single.
I guess neither of the songs are called Lewis Street, but we're gonna listen to the song. What's it called?
The Climb Back. All right, that was J. Cole. What does the J stand for?
Jermaine.
Jermaine?
I think that his name is Jermaine Cole.
All right, well, The Climb Back is the name of the song.
So I might have been too a little rough on J. Cole when we first started. Because I don't think he's terrible. I think he's mediocre. But this is actually one of his better songs, I think. He went off on this one.
This song was good, yeah.
A thing that I've noticed with J. Cole, at least for me, I think like anytime he's featured on a song, like he goes crazy. Like he does features like on JID songs and shit like that, and just basically anytime I hear him on a feature, he always kills a feature.
Okay.
Because I don't know, I guess he feels like there's a little bit of competition or something. But just a lot of times on his own songs, like when it's just him, it feels like he's not doing much, or like he's kind of like phoning it in a little bit or something for me, or like he's trying to go for like some kind of theme or something that's not exactly like hitting exactly right or whatever.
Maybe he's like, maybe on his own stuff he's too concerned about all of it, like too much of it. Maybe on a feature he's
That's
just
what
like,
I think, yeah.
He's just like, okay, well everything's already set up. All he has to do is like go in there, see what it is about, and then just
it's probably that, because you're right. Because on a feature he's just like, all I gotta do is kill my feature, like just rap. Where on his own shit he's like, oh, I gotta make it a whole thing. I gotta like put a concept into it, whatever. But like this one, it feels like he was just rapping, like, and he was talking on like, there's topics about his conscious shit, fucking police brutality and shit like that. But like there wasn't really a concept to the song, but it was just like him rapping, and I think he did really good on this song.
No, I thought he did really well. It reminded me, we talked a couple weeks back about like that like New York conscious style, like late 90s, early 2000s kind of rap style. Like, I don't know, like the rap that like classic hip hop heads tend to like go for. And I know that like J. Cole has been on that for a while now, but this kind of hit the same way. Not what would you call that production? I wouldn't call it exactly chop off the soul, but like it had.
No, it was like, I don't know. I mean, it had like big 808s and stuff like that, but it was more like, I don't know, it just sounds like modern hip hop. It sounds like a modern hip hop beat. Like it's got some it's like a mid-tempo beat. It's kind of dark, a little I don't know, they had like those weird samples of like screaming or something, or like it had like a weird manipulated vocal sample, and it had some deep bass in it. It's a good beat. There's not much really with the beat though, because it kind of just does the same thing through the whole song. Yeah. It's not like there's any like changes.
Yeah, no, the beat. I mean, yeah,
but it's kind of just a vehicle for his rapping. He's not really trying to do anything.
Right, and I feel like that's what I think more classic hip hop heads would appreciate.
Yeah,
that is, it's like it's not like some crazy musical like outing. Like yeah, like you said, it's just one beat repeated, like looped the entire way through. But yeah, it is mostly a vehicle for like his verses to come through. And, you know, people are always complaining about, like, oh, mumble rap this, and, like, people don't care about the lyrics anymore. But, like, you know, you got somebody like J. Cole that, like, you know, still, you know, is putting in, he's putting in lines that actually come through. I don't know, you know, it's...
And also, fucking... mumble rappers are talking about the same shit 90s rappers were talking about. They're still talking about fucking shooting people, selling drugs, and whatever. They're just mumbling about it instead of fucking rapping about it. Like,
yeah, it's just that some people are more into the language arts of things and, like, you know.
Yeah, I get that, but fuck you. I don't know. Like, who gives a shit? Like, because, like, I like, you know, I've professed my love for Wu-Tang countless times.
Right.
But, you know, a lot of other 90s rap was like, yeah, they were rapping, but the beats were fucking trash. Like, they were terrible. And
it may be dull is, like, maybe what I would go for.
Terrible.
Yeah.
So, you know, Southern rap, trap music, shit like that, like, sure, maybe you could say the lyrics aren't as whatever, but at least the beats are good. Like, they're interesting. Yeah. Like, they have good ideas and shit. They have good choruses and stuff. They're actual songs instead of just some guy from New York rapping on a beat for 5 minutes.
Yeah. No, I get what you're saying. And, like, I would probably tend more to that as well. There's been a lot of these more, you know, the classic / traditional rappers or whatever that, like, people push, you know, like, oh, you should go check out this. Go check out that. And then you go listen to it and you're like, I don't know, man. Like, if you didn't live that lifestyle, if you didn't see those same things, like, what are you really, like, getting out of it? I mean, I know that, you know, they got a story to tell, but, like, you know, you could also, like, put more effort into the music.
Yeah, and, like, and you can appreciate the poetry of it, like, you know, what they're saying and how they're saying it and, like, all the crazy rhyme schemes and shit like that, but, like, it's music, and if the beat's not interesting, like, what are you doing? I don't know. And, like, I proclaim my love for Wu-Tang all the time, but a lot of the reason why I love Wu-Tang is because I think the RZA is one of the greatest producers of all time. Like, his beats were crazy.
Yeah. No, I get what you're saying. But, I mean, I don't know. How does this tie in back to this J. Cole song? It's
it's a good song.
It's a good song. You know, part of me wants more from the beat, but, you know, I know what he's going for.
Yeah, the beat didn't bother me. Like, I knew what it was. Like, the beat was just there so we could rap on it. Like, he's not trying to do anything else. And for that, I mean, I think it was a good beat. The beat wasn't, like, bad. Like, I think we said the same thing about the Eminem and Kid Cudi song. Like, the beat was pretty average, but, like, it wasn't bad or anything. Like, it didn't make me think, like, why'd he pick this beat? Like,
yeah.
You know, it was fine. It did its job.
Yeah. And, yeah. No, I mean, it's a good song from J. Cole. Check it out if you're into J. Cole, if you're into the linguistics of hip hop, etc.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, those are the 5 songs that we've covered today. Next week we'll be covering more new music. Any final thoughts about what we've been going on today?
No.
All right. Well, we'll see you next time then.
Oh wait, well we gotta do the.
Oh yeah. So click the bell. Hit subscribe, smash that subscribe
button. Like our video,
button.
comment on our video.
We keep up with the Instagram at Blood on the Mic, and then on Twitter at
Blood on the Mic 1. Follow me on Twitter at Torna Lewis. Just follow us on everything. Comment on our shit. Tell us what to do. We're going to release a video on emo rap this week, like a history of emo rap. We're going to talk about Lil Peep and Juice WRLD. So get ready for that.
Yep. All right, stay tuned.
Bye.